Hi, this is Dr. Brian Walsh, part of the research and development team with ProGrade, and today we're going to tell a short video on the anti-inflammatory impacts of krill oil and all the different compounds in it. Now, why should you be concerned with inflammation? To be honest, inflammation is one of the most ubiquitous processes that are going on in people's bodies today, causing everything ultimately from cancer to something as simple as perhaps fatigue and everything in between. We all have some degree of inflammation going on, and now more than ever we need potent anti-inflammatory substances to help block these inflammatory cascades and ultimately lead us to a healthier, more asymptomatic life. Now we'll talk about the krill oil and the number of different compounds in it, like omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, as well as some of the antioxidants, and how they can actually lower inflammation. The first discussion that we need to have, however, has to do with fatty acids. Now, we have essential fatty acids, and they're essential because your body cannot produce these. We need them from the outside. One class of essential fatty acids are called omega-6. These come from things like corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, and are considered to be called linoleic acid. Now, obviously, with those oils, the omega-6 in our diets today is very, very high. So we're abbreviating these pathways a bit, but linoleic acid coming from those particular oils is eventually converted down into something called DGLA, or dihomogammallinolenic acid, and then goes into an anti-inflammatory group of molecules that we'll just call the prostaglandin series 1 molecules. So the green is the anti-inflammatory. Also, you have omega-3 fatty acids. Now up here, omega-3 fatty acids are found in things like walnuts and flax oil, hemp oil or hemp seeds and chia seeds. They have to go through a series of enzymatic conversions to eventually be converted into EPA, which can be converted also into DHA. EPA can be converted into more anti-inflammatory compounds called the prostaglandin 3 series, which are actually very, very anti-inflammatory. So you can see just with this chart so far that EPA and DHA can be very potent in creating anti-inflammatory processes. DGLA, however, can enzymatically be converted to something called arachidonic acid. And arachidonic acid eventually creates a series of products called prostaglandin series 2. Now, what's so inflammatory, anti-inflammatory about these? The anti-inflammatory cascades or pathways or prostaglandin pathways have been shown to help everything from lowering blood pressure to decreasing coagulation of the blood or making it less sticky to things like blood sugar regulation and control. As opposed to the arachidonic cascade has been shown to increase inflammation, to increase even your chances of getting cancer, for example. So as much as possible, we want to block this arachidonic cascade. And we'll see in just a second how EPA and DHA can do that. What happens is these are all fatty acids, DGLA, arachidonic acid, EPA, and DHA, that are incorporated into the cell membrane. Now, in the cell membrane, what happens is these substances can be liberated, and when they act on an enzyme, or an enzyme acts on them, and then create these particular anti-inflammatory, or in the case of arachidonic acid, inflammatory prostaglandin series. So what we want to try to do is decrease that, and here's how krill oil can help. EPA specifically has been shown to block this conversion of DGLA into arachidonic acid just by itself, so that's a strong argument for EPA. EPA has also been shown, when it's embedded in the cell membrane, more than arachidonic acid actually competes with the enzymes that has arachidonic acid turn into the prostaglandin series 2 pathway. So that's another benefit of EPA. DHA once it's released from the cell membrane, has its own anti-inflammatory compounds, which are actually very new in the medical research. Resolvins, neuroprotectins, and docosahexaenines. So these are very anti-inflammatory by themselves, but DHA has also been found to block the prostaglandin E2 pathway. So you can see that just supplementing with EPA and DHA in the form of something like a highly bioavailable krill oil can significantly reduce inflammation throughout your body. So what else does the omega-3 fatty acids do? In a cell, you have receptors that are called toll-like receptors. Now, there's a number of different types, but understand this, that when the toll-like receptors receive input from the outside of your body, from things like bacteria or viruses or certain chemicals, what they do is they send a message to inside your cell to stimulate something called NF kappa B, or kappa beta, nuclear factor kappa beta. Nuclear factor kappa beta is the subject of much research today because NF kappa B is the amplifier for the inflammatory cascade, meaning that when NF kappa B is stimulated, it stimulates inflammation on a number of different pathways. So you could chase those different pathways, or you could block NF kappa beta from even starting. By the way, one thing that stimulates NF kappa B or NF kappa beta is arachidonic acid. These toll-like receptors have been found that EPA can actually inhibit the toll-like receptor activity so that you inhibit the NF kappa beta activity and therefore decrease inflammation. This is very, very potent. Another thing that it does is here you have the nucleus of your cell. Now, arguably, the nucleus is the most important component of your cell. It is what contains your book of life, or your genetic code, or your DNA. Anything that acts on the DNA is going to have genetic effects. All of these other effects that we're talking about are more on the metabolic or chemical level. If it acts on your DNA, it's affecting your genes. Now, on the DNA, on the nucleus, you have what's referred to as there's a variety of them, as a PPAR receptor, or a peroxisome proliferator activated receptor. These PPAR receptors have been found to be activated by EPA. EPA activates the PPAR receptor, which stimulates your nucleus, your DNA, your genetic code, to actually improve things like fat metabolism and blood sugar control. Both are very inflammatory. And incidentally, it's the stimulation of the PPAR receptor on the nucleus that is one of the ways, one of the mechanisms that EPA and DHA may help with weight loss, because you're improving this cell's ability to metabolize fatty acids, which is great, and that's what you want during a weight loss program. It doesn't only stimulate this cell, but the hundreds of trillions of cells of your body. The more cells that have that, the easier it is to lose weight. So EPA and DHA are highly anti-inflammatory for a number of different pathways. We all have some degree of inflammation. Maybe it's joint pain, maybe it's headaches, maybe you have blood sugar dysregulation, or honestly, maybe you feel relatively healthy. You can guarantee that for some of these pathways and reasons, you have some degree of inflammation. And inflammation, again, has been shown to be associated with every condition today. Now, there's one other component to this of why krill oil is actually more beneficial than fish oil for reducing inflammation. And that is a novel antioxidant called astaxanthin. This antioxidant has a unique ability to actually incorporate itself into the cell membrane. This means that this cell, when astaxanthin is incorporated into the cell membrane, can protect it from the outside, it can protect it from free radical damage and inflammation on the inside, and it can protect it on this inside the cell membrane itself. It is totally unique in its structure and in its ability to offer anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects on the body. So for these reasons, and as research comes out, probably even more, krill oil in just 2 soft gels a day is a phenomenal way of getting anti-inflammatory effects as well as antioxidant effects that currently no other supplement can do the same.
I'm 29, I live in LA, and I suffer from osteoarthritis, and my shoulders, my knees, my ankles always hurt, pain and inflammation. Well, I've been taking nutrition forest krill oil, and all of that is gone. I am so comfortable when I walk now. I don't feel these aches and pains, and I'm like a whole new woman. I just love this stuff. There's also other benefits that I've gotten from it. Um, my cholesterol levels have improved. I have an improved memory. I used to be very forgetful, like, where'd I set my keys? You know, hey, do you remember when we watched that movie last week and this and that happened? No, I don't. Well, now I can literally, like, it's sharper. My memory is sharper, my cholesterol levels are better, and there's no pain in my joints. I love this stuff. It is some miracle stuff. I love it. The astaxanthin in it also, it gives me more stamina. I can focus better on my aerobics training. I've even lost a little bit of weight. I just think this is an awesome, awesome product. I would recommend it to anybody who is suffering from any pain like that. It's also FDA approved and it's made in the USA. Definitely check this stuff out. It works better than anything else. I just love it so much.